Hello and welcome to Clackmannanshire. I'm Anne Pearson and I'm Chief Education Officer here in Clackmannanshire, which sits at the foot of the beautiful Ochil Hills. We live also very close to Stirling and Edinburgh and Glasgow. This is all about the work that our Educational Psychological Service are doing in relation to getting our children ready for learning. I hope you'll enjoy what you're about to hear.
And I'm the Principal Educational Psychologist for Clackmannanshire. And the Psychological Service has offered training and support to schools round about trauma and loss for many years now. And the Scottish Attainment Challenge, known as the SAC, is a major Scottish Government initiative designed to close the poverty-related attainment gap. So the SAC has given us the opportunity to extend the previous trauma work that we've done here in Clacks by introducing the neurosequential model in education. So by introducing the neurosequential model to our schools, this has allowed our educators to deepen their understanding about the impact of trauma and stress on the brain, and to look at what that looks like in the classroom. But I suppose most importantly for us is actually what we can do to help educators to reduce the impact of trauma and stress within the classroom, so that our children are ready to be able to engage in the wonderful learning opportunities that are provided for them here in Clackmannanshire.
Jackie Reid, Improving Outcomes Principal Teacher. The career-long professional learning offered by Clackmannanshire's Education Psychology Service this year has been invaluable. They've helped deepen my understanding of the needs of our learners, as well as giving me practical ideas that I can try out in the classroom.
I'm Leslie Taylor. I'm an educational psychologist with lead role for implementing the neurosequential model in schools across Clackmannanshire. It was really important when we were implementing the model that it wasn't seen as something standalone or something new that schools had to do that was in conflict with some of the other trauma-informed approaches that we've been working on. So what we've done is we've amalgamated it with some other approaches that are also brain-based, attachment-led, trauma-informed and take account of the community of the child. This approach Readiness for learning. So first of all we use the neurosequential model to make sure a child is regulated and able to attend in the classroom. We then use attachment theory so that we can work out what is the best way to approach interventions with the child based on their attachment style. And then we use some of the intensive therapeutic knowledge that we have if we need to intervene with children who are experiencing the highest level of dysregulation within the classroom.
Green. I'm the acting head teacher at Park Primary School. Within our school there's a number of children who have experienced lots of different levels of adversity, and we found that our children moving from nursery to primary one were below where we would expect them to be developmentally. As a result, we looked at developing and enhancing their curriculum and environment in line with the core concepts of NME and the nurturing principles.
My name is Sheena Waldron and I'm the Primary 1 teacher at Park Primary School. We were warned by the educational psychologist that the children coming into our class this year would not cope with a traditional Primary 1 classroom. And they were right. When they first came, they found it really difficult to play. If they were playing, it was unproductive play, quite destructive with the resources and themselves. They found it hard to manage their relationships with each other. They were very hyper-vigilant, so if you did get them settled onto activity, They were looking about them to see where they could be going next or what was happening with somebody else. And if somebody came to the door, you completely lost them. A lot of our learners seem to not trust adults. They found it very difficult to share and be kind to one another, and actually their ability to listen and attend was almost non-existent with some of them. So we were really looking for something different. We spoke to the educational psychologist and consulted with them about our environment, and we started there with the change of looking at the colours that we use in the classroom. Instead of it being very bright, we use natural colours like Hessian to back our walls. We try to put as little huge big displays up, tried to make it just very relevant to what the children knew, signposting for them. We tried to make it bring the outside in, and we use the inside out as well. So we would use things like shells and stones to do our counting with instead of plastic toys and things like that. We also looked at how sensory experiences we could use, and things like smells and tastes were quite important as well. So we looked at eating together in a social situation. We also had areas that were softly furnished, crawl spaces for children to go if they felt they weren't able to cope with a situation. We looked at having weighted blankets and blankets that children could look through as well. That was another thing that was suggested to us by the educational psychologist. And basically just looked at a calming environment. We do relaxation as part of our ongoing things, that children are very aware of why they're doing things and and if there's anything that we change in the classroom, we have to ask the children first and have them involved in any changes, so it's the same secure space that they're coming into.
Your brain bottle.
When it's good, this means you shaky.
Can you tell us a little bit more? Tell us about when does your brain feel a little bit shaky?
When you're running.
You're running? Jogging.
And even dancing.
Dancing. And what about you, Rory? What about if you're outside and you're getting a little bit angry or excited?
Your brain goes all shaky and it won't stop.
So what do we have to do?
Calm it.
We have to calm it. And how do we calm our brains?
We get our brain bottles and sit on the step and you hold it and look at it until it settles.
When we come into the classroom after lunch, sometimes what do?
We have relaxation.
We have What do you do in relaxation?
So we have some songs and we watch and we get blankets and cushions.
And what do we have to do then?
Calm ourselves down.
Yeah.
And put some stuff on our hands.
What is that? It's hands.
And massage.
And then you massage it, don't you?
You can actually massage it.
And when your brain's all busy, can you learn properly?
No. You can't.
For our children, they've grown throughout the year, but more than that, they've actually blossomed into safe, secure, confident little learners who are actually they're taking responsibility for the environment and their learning. Their concentration levels of 3-4-folded than they were before. Their ability to listen, and actually their understanding of how they learn is the most important bit, and actually their understanding of how others learn is also coming into it, because quite often if a child does come in and is not ready to listen, you can hear their friends' voices saying, you need to go and rest, you need to go and shake the brain bottle. So it's actually having a knock-on effect with other children as well.
What do you like about your classroom? What are the bits
The
that
mirror
you
in the
like?
house corner.
Why do you like the mirror?
Because you get to make funny faces in it.
Yeah. And actually it helps you think about how you're
Feelings.
feeling. Isabella, do you sometimes talk about your feelings?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be happy, sad, angry, frustrated. Sad.
As I say, where they were from when they came in to now is night and day. It's just really worked for our children. And for myself and the other primary one teacher, it was a change in mindset for us really. We looked at, because we're understanding way more about the development of the brain, and we're looking at behaviour in a completely different way.
What do you like or love about our classroom?
Playing in the house, going out and drawing.
You can act out if you're feeling happy or if you're feeling
Angry.
angry, that's right.
Frustrated or sad.
Yeah. What about your teachers and the other adults? Because it's not just the teachers. What do you like about them?
They give you cuddles when you feel sad. And they give you relaxation so you can feel better if you're sad.
Yeah. And then you're ready to learn again, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people can look after you if you have a scraped knee and it's bleeding. Yeah, and you can take them to the office.
Because it's not just the adults in the classroom, is it? It's your
No, it's your
friends as well. You all look after each other. Because we can't do everything, can we?
No.
Yeah.
We're almost being given permission to go with what they need rather than what you would think a school is expecting of them. And I think that's made all the difference, because as teachers, quite intuitive as to what children need on an individual basis, but also as a class basis, because sometimes the whole class just aren't ready to learn at that point. And it's almost given us the permission that actually we can just stop, we can just do a little bit of relaxation or a little bit of sensory play to help them, and then we pull them back to, you know, taking 10-15 minutes to do that makes all the difference.
Hi, I'm Alison Littlejohns, I'm head teacher at Bankery Primary. We had a number of our young people who were finding it difficult to manage their behaviour in school, and this was becoming very disruptive to the work of the whole school. We worked very closely with our educational psychologists, and we began embedding nurture principles and the work of the neurosequential model in education into our practice across the upper school. The upshot of that is that we have given children space in order to regulate when things are not going quite so well, and we have built relationships with their class teacher who has changed her practice and the learning environment in order to suit the needs of her young people. We are hugely positive about the impact this is having on our young people, and we are very much looking forward to taking this forward across our entire school community.
So fundamentally what we're trying to do is to grow good brains in our young people. Having the opportunity to work with the Child Trauma Academy in America has been amazing for us in Clackmannanshire, but we're not done yet. We've got lots of things that we still want to do.
Our key priority is to reduce the poverty-related gap, the attainment gap. This is a huge challenge for us in Clackmannanshire, but we are making such progress thanks to this work. I really wish that someday you will come and visit Clackmannanshire. You'll be very welcome, and you'll see on the ground what's happening in our schools.